Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Liquid Digital Marketing Podcast. In this episode today, we are talking about boosting conversions using automated email sequences. Okay, so this episode's really going to build off of last week's episode, where we talked about using gated content to grow your email list. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to that one, maybe after this one. To give you a summary of what that was about, gated content is basically offering content of some value in exchange for an email address. Basically, it's gating some valued content in exchange for an email address. Okay, so, and we talked all about like how to set that up and all of this stuff. So you're building your email list. Let's say you have now got gated content on a gated download on your website. You have it to where people can fill out a form. You're collecting their email address into your system. That's all great. Next, you have an email automatically sent to them with their download. And let's say you just stopped there. Okay, so that's great, right? Because you're building your email list. And that's kind of where we left off in the last episode. But at that point, there's really nothing more to nudge them into further into the funnel or into converting as a customer, right? So what next? Now let's say the same sequence of events happen, but this time, after you send them that free download, you follow up with a series of emails. A series of emails that gives more value, that helps build trust, and that nudges that contact further into your funnel and further into converting. That's where the magic of marketing automation comes in. So marketing automation, what is marketing automation? Well, a definition of it is it's a series of messages automatically sent in a specific timed sequence triggered by an action that are set to drive a specific business objective. What are some of the benefits of using a marketing automation? Well, one is nurturing your relationships and communications with your customers and potential customers. It allows you to build trust with your customers or potential customers. You can create an intentional user experience. It allows you to have consistency in your messaging, and it saves you a ton of time as a business owner and a marketer because these are automated preset email sequences set to achieve your business objective. And at the top of the list, it's going to help you increase sales and conversions. In marketing automation, in this episode, we're going to be talking more in depth about email sequences, but marketing automation does kind of expand more than just email. You can also include other things such as text messages, messengers or messenger bots. I mean, those are some other types of mediums that can be used in marketing automation. Also, like pop-ups, depending on the platform, you might give them a special message on your website if they've taken certain action. So this is all marketing automation, where we're going to dive in to more of the email side of it, because that's kind of where we left off in the last episode is, triggering that action based off of the download, getting the email, and now emailing them. We also talked about some tools and platforms, and just in case you missed last episode, some of those tools that we would recommend. The top one, our top recommended, what we use for our clients is Autopilot. It's autopilothq.com. They have a few different solutions based off of what your business does. So they have like an e-commerce solution that integrates with Shopify really well. They have a SaaS I think it's a SaaS, like if you're selling a software as a service type of thing. And then they also just have like this journey builder solution, which is actually what we use and allows you to just create, whatever journeys you want. So that's Autopilot. We recommend Autopilot. Check them out. Some other ones, if you are looking for some other options, are ActiveCampaign, Keep, and that's KEAP, MailChimp, Klaviyo, ConvertKit, and ManyChat. ManyChat is a little less robust in the sense that it doesn't do all of the different stuff that these other ones do. It's more of a tool used for Messenger. However, it can do other things, but in my experience, its primary function is Messenger. Okay, so those are some of the tools. So let's talk about the different types. Let's dive in deeper into the email sequences. There's a lot of different types of email sequences and automations that you can set up. And what really dictates this is your objective that you're trying to achieve. For example, nurturing leads. If you have, this is actually what we're going to dive into a little bit more, is if you have like a download where you're building your email list of potential leads and taking that cold lead and warming them up into a warm lead or hot lead, whatever, or into a customer. That email sequence is going to be different than if you're doing something like just sending out updates and announcements, or if you have an e-commerce shop and you are setting up trying to recover abandoned carts. That is marketing automation. Example for abandoned carts is someone comes to your site, they put something into their cart and they don't check out, and then maybe an hour later you send them a follow-up email saying, hey, you left something in your cart. If they don't take action, a day later you send them another email, hey, you left something in your cart, here's the free shipping coupon, whatever, right? It's automated based off of your goals and their actions. Some other examples would be if you had resales or upsales. So let's say in a resale situation, again with e-commerce, let's say you have a product that is consumed in a 30-day period. Well, maybe after someone buys your product, 30 days or maybe 25 days after they purchase it, you send them a follow-up email to reorder with maybe a free shipping 10% discount or something. Upsales, maybe someone buys an item and you have items that really go along well with that item. Well, maybe you send them a follow-up email and say, hey, we know you just bought this. These other items would complete the set, and here's some incentive to go buy that. So these are automated marketing email sequences and campaigns that you can set up. Another one might be, let's say you have an online course and you can track their progress. So maybe it's incentivizing them to progress through your course so they don't become stale or stagnant. It's really endless, right? So you can set it up for so many different things. Let's dive deeper into setting up an email sequence for a lead magnet, right? So that's where we left off again with last week. So this whole gated content, this lead magnet item. When you set out to do this email sequence, the challenge in all of this that you should be thinking about is bridging the gap between the download and the product and service you offer. Think about, how do you connect the two together through the series of emails? Here's a bad example of doing it. Email 1, here's your free download. Email 2, this is who we are and this is what our product is. Email 3, buy our product, and that's it. Okay, so that's a bad way to go about it, right? You're just kind of like trying to throw the sale way too fast. So maybe a better example would be email 1, here's your free download. Email 2, here are some tips that go along with that free download. And then maybe email 3 is, here's an introduction to us. And this is where you start to bridge the gap. So for example, here's who we are and how we help people make this transformation, whatever it is, and why we liked doing that. So it's not just about, here's our product, buy it. It's about, here are the benefits. Here's how we have helped other people. Here is, other people's response using our product. Okay, so I jumped ahead a little bit. So email 4 would be, here's our product and how it's helped others, right? So in this email, we're following along, we're building trust, we're including testimonials, we're showing real examples. And then 6 would be the call to action, to take action to the next step. So maybe it's schedule or for a download, or not a download, a demo or a free consultation, or purchase the product, or try a sample, sign up for a free trial, whatever it is, that's the call to action. The big difference here is you're building trust and you're not jumping you're not jumping fast, right? You want to transition. You have to bridge the gap between the download and your service. The other thing, when you set out to make your download, think about what your service and product is and how are you going to bridge that download into the product and service. So maybe that dictates what that download is. So example, we build websites. One of the starting points in a website is getting the content. That's one of the first phases is getting your content right and figured out. The content kind of serves as the blueprint for the website, right? Well, we have a download where people can download a content planner and build out their content and figure out what their content is, because it's really this first step into the service that we provide. Whatever, right? The whole point is like, think through your customer's journey. What is that download going to be that is going to, attract them to your actual product and service that you offer? So it needs to be related, obviously. And if you can bridge the gap between that download and what you offer and how you help people, that's the key. Okay, so the goal of your email sequence should be to provide value to your leads. Top number one thing, provide value. You want to help your leads or your contacts learn enough about you without it being all about you. You want to build trust and build a relationship. I mean, think about when you're writing these emails that you're not talking to a stranger, but you're talking to your friend, right? Or you're talking to someone who might be your friend. You're not, take yourself out of the business shoes and the client shoes and think about it as like a friendship relationship and start talking about it that way. You want to establish yourself as an authority on the topic or in your industry. You do this by showing examples of how you've helped people, your accomplishments, whatever. You want to offer more value, again, after you've shown yourself and explained who you are, built some trust, give some more value, and then engage the lead to convert. The other thing to consider when you're setting up these email sequences is the frequency in which you send them. Okay, so you really want to pay close attention to how often you're emailing people or how many emails they're receiving from you. You need to test this out for your audience and your messaging and your product, because it does vary. There's no magic number. I will say you want to space your emails out 1 to 5 days in between. Of course, depending on what it is, but you can go one day after the other, or maybe it's 2 days after the other, or maybe, the first one's a day after, and then 3 days after, and then maybe 5 days after. You have to kind of figure out what that spacing is, but the spacing is important. It's critical. You don't want to wait too long. 5 days really starts to push it, especially after that first download. If we're talking downloads, if someone doesn't know you and they come to your site or they download your free download and they get it, and you wait 5 days, 10 days to email them again, good chances they forgot about you already. With all of the noise, I recommend in this instance where they downloaded something, after you send them that first download, and then if that second email is tips on that download, send it a day or two later. Don't wait 5 days. I would send it a day later, 2 days later, maybe 3 days later. And then if you need to start spacing it out to the 3-day mark or so, then do so. Really, the best thing to do is really think like your audience and what is their experience, what is going to make sense, and try to fit in the shoes of your audience. So now the content of your emails should look authentic and not too newsletter-ish or corporate. So obviously this depends on your brand and what you typically are looking like out there. If you're a big brand, then obviously, it can probably look a little bit newsletter-ish. If you're, just a small business coming at them with, kind of a cheesy newsletter every time, then that's probably not going to accomplish the task. You want to look authentic, you want to look real, and looking authentic in your emails and having it look like just kind of like a general email is going to give the perception of a more friendly, closer connection and less business to customer, and it's more of a customer to customer. I don't think that's actually a thing, customer to customer. But maybe it is now. I don't know. But they should be branded, right? So they should have your branding and links to your site and all of that stuff. Okay. All right. So that wraps us up with the email sequence. I hope you found this valuable. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to help people. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, like, and share this with your friends. We'll see you in the next episode.